All right, today we're going to break down just a really quick video I made recently. My goal was going out to a local park in the evening with my younger brother and test some autofocus while playing basketball with a moving subject, seeing how well it did, as well as try to nail exposure more and see what this camera, this Sony FX3 really see what this camera, the Sony FX3 really likes. So let's break down some shots, look at some composition, lighting, and probably see where I could have done better and maybe things that I did all right. So throughout the process. So thanks for watching. Let's get into it. So the first thing I looked at was this skylight coming down, which I thought was pretty nice. So I guess I can't write above this thing. Whatever. All right. I'm going to probably overdo this drawing portion. And then as well as this backlight here, that was my goal. It's just position in a way where our subject was backlit. And this chair, I liked the texture on this chair. So a few of the things I was thinking about, I wanted to make sure that was the subject there. I wanted to make sure it was backlit. The scene was kind of boring besides that, but the skylight was kind of fun. And I knew later on, when I put a subject here, it would end up being all right. All right, so let's move on. So next thing is we sat John. Here's John. Let's edit this again. Mark it up. How you doing? Good. All right, so we sat John in this chair. Once again, here's that skylight position. I don't know if you guys can see that on that white, but skylight's coming up there. And once again, he's backlit, so you have a nice kind of rim around. I did end up putting a tube light about here, well, more like behind him there. And that was supposed to do the same thing and kind of add a little more rim around the couch, but then also around here. I don't know if it was perfect. I also don't know if I exposed this perfectly. I think I could have gone a little brighter, maybe a little better shot. It ended up being okay, but nothing great. Also not an incredible color grade. I'm also not an incredible colorist, so I'm sure there could have been more that could be done there. I did end up liking once again, this texture on the couch, and then the color contrast between the shirt and the chair, not the couch. So beyond that, so with the skylight, you can see this light here is pretty soft. So we did use one of those 4-in-1 4-in-1 diffusers that I hit record, and then I just walked over and held it while he did a couple actions in the scene. All right. So I liked it. I think I would have liked if we had a little better Rembrandt here. If I just I probably could have pulled the diffuser closer this way. It might have spread nicer. But honestly, it was getting towards the end of the day, so the light wasn't as harsh as I probably wanted it to be. But all in all, I think it's a fine frame, and it'll do for the time we had. Moving on, let's see. Let's look to some basketball and then maybe some dishes. So here's a basketball shot. This one's, once again, pretty basic, but the entire goal was sunshine over here, and once again he was backlit, and we just kind of went with that. I really liked, this is a classic, put the camera on the ground and hope for the best, and I like the texture here. I think that's really nice. And the color, I mean, mellow in his shoes there, contrast with that gold up here. So a lot of cool textures, and that shot turned out nice. So, but that was the recurring theme, was just to make sure that I put the sun behind the sunset behind the subject. So let's find, yeah, here's a wide that this wide I kind of wanted to be boring. It was the goal with this shot was to show that he's just by himself, and he's calling plays, he's asking for picks, he's clearing the lane, he's looking for an ISO, all that stuff. So I wanted this shot just to take us back and like, oh, you're by yourself and you're a bit of a goober. But so you all can know, the sun was out over here coming down this way, obviously further outside the frame, and then that's a camera, sure. And then I kind of stood around there most of the time to shoot out this direction, and obviously he would be edged by the sun. And yeah, that was kind of the strategy throughout most of it. Last thing, honestly, in some of these shot breakdowns is when we shot anything in the kitchen. The kitchen, there was a nice window up here, and that provided our key. And the only thing I did different is behind John here, I put that tube light so that I could have a little edge on some of these items here. So once again, run and gun, quick, really fun. Obviously, working with younger brother is a blast, but the main thing was testing how I should expose, which, like I said, I think I underexposed most of it. It seems like the FX3 and maybe S-Log3 in general likes to be a tad bit overexposed. You guys can fight about that maybe in the comments. But yeah, working with John, I want to test that and then also see how much I could push autofocus, because I don't use autofocus on just about anything, but I wanted to test it. So that's it. I think that's all we're going to look at today. This was a fun project. If you want to check it out, I'll put it somewhere. It's in the channel, obviously, but if you want to check it out, I'll try to put it in the video here, drop it down. It was a evening. We had just a few hours to put something together. It turned out completely different than I planned. I actually spent the morning in a coffee shop writing down all these different ideas with some inspirational quotes, and actually related to Montel Jordan's song, This Is How We Do It. And there was this whole vibe that it started with, and then none of it turned out as I was shooting. And then even as I was editing, I was like, oh, there's not really enough here. And I even recorded the voiceover. That I just didn't like the flow and how the voiceover paired with the video. So when it's all said and done, I only put a few hours into it shooting it, so I'm not going to put days into editing it. So I probably spent a day reworking and kind of pulled out this idea that what if it was just John, excuse me, what if it was just John doing dishes, and basically the whole thing was him daydreaming about being on the basketball court. So my mind kind of went that way. That's why if you've watched it, you'll see the cuts from dishes to shooting to the sprayer to the scraper to dribbling to. So I tried to pair those together. Obviously, if I planned for it, I could have made those shots way more seamless, and the transitions I could have whipped the same directions, and I could have match cut the soap with the ball and those kind of ideas if I had the story planned beforehand. But with the shots I had, I just kind of chose to go that direction, and that's how it turned out. Thanks for watching. So comment in that short or in here anything that you would have done better or would have done differently in the, say you had 3 or 4 hours to shoot it. I'd be curious to know what you all would have done. So once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.